Hey, what's good, YouTube? It's your man Ronan, back at it again. And this is part two of the Duality series, and we're talking about the wrong side of provision today. But before I get into that, much love to the A-Game Nation. Shout out to the A-Game family and all the four progressive peers out here kicking ass and taking names. Not going to be monetized for this one, so be it. Don't care. But you already know the deal. Use the code RONAN10, and as your passport to the A-Game lifestyle, helps with your vitality, energy, focus, and libido. With that being said, this is the wrong side of provision. So let me give you the definition on that. Using your masculine light poorly to be reduced into a mule of convenience. Allowing your foresight to be the first casualty. Now I'm going to talk about the first one first. This is where you get the Jonathans, you get the Maggles, who are male gonocrats. These are where you get the white knights, the simps, the tender dick Templars. This is where you get all the internet and offline goofies that provide nothing but excuses. They provide nothing but ammunition for all the foul misrepresentation and propaganda set against us as men, both screwed up and solid abroad. These are individuals who promote nothing. They don't problem solve, they perpetuate problems. They seek to not only exacerbate the situation, but they use a lot of rugged individualism to try to circumvent and basically muddy the waters for self-serving gain at their detriment, which they ultimately learn. These are the individuals that use provision to be conflict creators. These are individuals who have mastered the distribution of two major things. And this is my personal opinion. Fear porn. And this is individuals who use statistics to keep many individuals, their target audience, stagnated, stupefied, and socially irredeemable. I'll say that. These are the stat monkeys that find any and every way to justify goofiness, personal and basically overall expressions of procrastination. These are individuals who sit there and spend their time having circular arguments, these internet circle jerks with these panel possums. You got individuals who find any and every means not to be productive or address the issues that are outstanding besides their penis and anything that's pretty much insignificant. That's the fear porn. Now, the worst one is fail porn. These are the individuals that have committed acts as far as like smash and dash and got caught up creating the very problems they bitch about today. And they're still stuck in a perpetual cycle of stupidity. These individuals who lionize losership. These are the ones that who want to be the leaders of lemmings. And this is why you cannot quantify leadership with numbers, per se, especially in this space. Because there's a lot of losers who have big numbers. And they haven't talked about shit or moved the needle one iota in almost 20 years. It seems to us when you come to, when you're addicted to fail porn, you're always creating contradictory material that does not promote solutions, constructive criticism, or thinking. Definitely when it comes to action, outright flaccid and unwilling to make any moves for the better. And basically, you see what you see nowadays. A whole lot of inactivity, a lot of individuals getting older and bitter and not better. But all in all, when you use provision poorly, when you are not looking at reality for not just your contributions to it, but ways to solve the problems, really you're a masculine obstructionist. Because what men desire, at least solid men, is peace of mind and actually fulfillment of the purpose. When you have those things, that's where you start living versus existing. But again, when you monetize mediocrity, or actually waste your resources in supporting mediocrity, what you see is what you get. The consequences of last-minute planning and the collateral damage. If there's anything I hate, personally, is when someone sees I'm out here and I have a system. You see I have my watch. You see I have my phone and I put alarms on there. When someone knows they could have asked me hours before or day before and they wait to the last fucking minute to ask them, oh, can you do this? Nothing irritates my soul, an individual who does that. And there are people, if you allow them to, will consistently do that to spite you. So when it comes to individuals who provide nothing but obstacles, obstinance, and basically unnecessary stress, this is where you provide them one of these in distance. Two of these if they're really nice. That's me being sarcastic. Now, when it comes to your peers, we're dealing with the conflict creators, as I said, both overt and covert. Now, the overt ones are usually the loudest ones in the room. You can see all the dander and debris that they spread on and offline. The covert ones are often passive aggressive. These are the individuals you cannot trust with your vision, your passion, your dreams, or anything that moves the needle that challenges them to be better. Anytime something great happens to you, these hidden hyenas will let it be known that they do not like you changing for the better. They want you to be in this little box. If you're not providing them unearned benefits, we're talking about protection. We're talking about usually provision, which is like squandered, I'll get into that, or just procreation, where you basically not valuing your dick minutes. That's a problem. Because when you provide them with a plan that requires them to step outside their comfort zone and provide submission, and actually a few things, especially with a woman, these. If she does not have her personal market value in order, if her belonging value is trash, if her friendship value is showing that she's the covert hoe or one trying to hide among the overt ones, if all she has to offer is her sexual market value, her marriage market value is basically non-existent. If she cannot get most of these together, and if all she's got is this, you can kiss this goodbye. If that's what, Solid Brothers is looking for. Just saying. When it comes to provision, using it poorly is when you have a whole heap of excuses. In this space alone, we can see many individuals, when you ask them what are they going to do to solve these certain problems, well, blah, 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 I can't because she won't do this, or they didn't do this. Fuck them. Or if you're fucking them, stop. But when you're wasting your time making justifications for goofiness, this is where you start getting to the territory where you're providing opportunities for the parasites to eat you alive, slowly or immediately. You will become food. There are many people in this space and beyond who have become food or are on the menu. But let me continue. Ultimatums. When you have individuals, both peers and women, who provide you ultimatums to dissuade you from evolving to a man of principles and purpose, or they're trying to keep you in a relationship, this is where, again, where you provide them distance from your better self. You can't provide any justifications for that. No physical abuse, not no emotional abuse, not no economical abuse, none of that. This is where you let them know this is where we're done. You don't even have to give out a closing speech. You don't need no closer. Just shut the door on them forever. Because if they have to offer ultimatums to keep you at your most mediocre self, they never loved you in the first place, much less respect you. But I'll continue. When you use provision poorly, you convert brotherhood into a guild of thieves or parasitic opportunists. I don't think we need to go into that, because this is what we've seen on YouTube, the internet mandingo fights. You have individuals, the conflict creators, you could take your pick. They have more than enough examples to exemplify what I'm talking about here. When you're talking about the women, you'll have these edgeless obstructionists by thoughts, deeds, and patterns. Now, edgeless obstructionists, edgeless oracles, they're kind of one and the same, except with the edgeless oracles, they often use a lot of twisted foresight or intuition, and they project bullshit into the lives of others because they have either hit the wall, plowed through the wall, or they are the matrons of failure, and they want company going down the hill to hell. These are chicks out here who have screwed up their lives, their children are messed up, their economic landfill. And these are individuals that demand that you provide scavenger insurance. Your provision in helping these harpies, these carrion birds, will not only put you in a bad situation, but it's like basically trying to save someone who's drowning and you can't swim. It's suicidal in a way, or S-word, but I'll continue. And we're talking about, these are where the energy leeches come from, which I was going to say. These are women that only call you when they need something, but they're not providing you anything other than false hope, or they will provide you that weather-beaten box. But there's a difference between a woman who genuinely wants to be with you, who lusts after you, versus a woman who's using her box to keep from being homeless or just being a pro bono prostitute. I'll go on that later. Now, when it comes to ourselves, with the codependency, I'll say I use myself for example. When I was in that second relationship especially, it got to the point where I wanted to convert a relationship into an actual functioning relationship with a hyena. While she was a covert one, still, I was going against her screwed up nature. My thing was, in not accepting reality, I fell into the pit of a codependency, where in spite of all the trauma this individual was allowed to wrought in my life, I wanted to make it so I didn't want to be lonely at the time. But the thing is, when you're codependent, when you're using provision poorly, this is where you become familiar with the idea or the concept that the longest distance felt is within arm's reach. You could be trying to hold somebody or lay next to somebody, and it feels like they're on the other side of the universe. That's a whole different thing that many of us feel at times, even now. But the thing is, like, you got to learn how to have a healthy relationship with yourself. Provide you with a sense of fulfillment. Because if you don't know how to treat yourself, well, how do you expect others to treat you? And I'm going to say in closing, when it comes to provision being used poorly on ourselves, we create negative narratives. We allow these negative titles or thoughts. If you don't want to provide strag insurance, all of a sudden you're a dusty. Or you get chicks out there who want to divest, who say all these negative things. You have websites, you have individuals across the board who are sponsored by people who support their message that are anti-black men. How we counteract that is speaking life into ourselves. That goes into the procreation part, but the provision is you need to provide a healthy self-esteem in yourself, how you see yourself. That trains other people how to treat you or get the fuck away from you. Because when you have a healthy sense of self, esteem and direction, you know what you will tolerate and what you won't. And you will exercise that swiftly and with extreme prejudice, which I encourage my brothers to do. When it comes to being chained by fear, and we're talking about our health, which if we tend to bottle things up instead of providing healthy means of expressing our disappointment or anger or whatnot, this would almost lead me to this close to an aneurysm, holding things in. When you're displeased about something, you got to get it out in a healthy fashion. Or sometimes when you can't, you got to get it out right then and there and address the bullshit for what it is. And I'm telling my brothers this because, again, our mental health is often undermined, never taken seriously, and it needs to be addressed here and now, which goes into the Richard Sherman situation. This wasn't about simping for a woman. When a brother's going through some things and he's been governed by the external five and his spirituality is compromised or he's bankrupt, none of the external five is going to be matter. Matter of fact, that's going to be compromised more than anything. Why do you think he resorted to compromising his health, using the abuse of alcohol and other means to get a sense of spiritual grounding? We need to start looking at things properly and stop providing misinformation and bullshit that conflates the message and turns us back into these nonsensical titles like super predators that's been set upon us unfairly. But I digress. When we're talking about the family, are we providing a healthy example as brothers? Because I'm the oldest of three. It's set upon me to lead by example. Granted, as respective men, we still make our own choices, but can you be the sibling or the son or the father that our family can respect? When people hear about you or see you, what kind of aura do you project? What kind of narrative are you providing? Is it positive, negative, or questionable? When we're talking about our appearance, how do we look as men? How we look as content creators, or are we conflict creators where we're promoting this nonsensical appearance, or are we promoting the aura of solidarity, change? I submit to us aspiring to be the curse breakers, the individuals who are cutting the ties, the umbilical cord of failure that has kept us down to this point, to where we make the changes we need to make us not only look better, but have our overall outlook as a people, especially as heterosexual black men, brighter than we left it. That's what goes into the whole thing of passing the stick. What are we extending to the next generation other than hyena, dander, debt, and death? When it comes to our dwelling, there are many of us who may live on from Wall Street to Martin Luther King Street. But that does not mean you have to allow your dwelling to govern your appearance. or the other values of the 10 life values. How are you treating yourself? How are you treating your surroundings? It might be a small efficiency, it might be a mansion, but how you maintain it, and what do people see when you invite them in? That says a lot about your spirituality in many things, your health. But I'll continue. We're talking about your mobility. What are you providing yourself? What means are you providing as far as your fluidity, not just with your occupation, but for yourself? People are watching how you move. You might not have the resources, and you don't want to be caught in this whole high value man bullshit, but how are you moving out here in these streets? That's one means of mobility, but I'll leave that to you guys. We'll talk about your education, and not just the halls of miseducation in many cases. What are you learning about yourself? Are you socially adept or inept? Are you able to understand yourself or the languages of other people, not just foreign language, but how they communicate, how they interpret things? Education is all encompassing. It's not just in the books. Are you street smarts? Do you have common sense? Book smarts plays a role, but if you don't have those three, at least two of the three, you're kind of screwed. When it comes to your profession, it doesn't matter if you're making 8 figures or 4 figures. What are you providing for yourself and those you invite into your life? Are you Scavenger life insurance? Are you a Scavenger life insurance policy? Or do you provide a sense of comfort, respect? Do you provide a level of structure that any man or woman or even animals can respect? What about your leisure? Now, some individuals have very constructive ways of leisure to talk about getting the sports that helps with their health, helps with their spirituality, and all the other 10 life values. But there are some individuals who do some very self-destructive types of leisure. They're providing, let's see, you have individuals who say it ain't tricking if you got it. Yes, it is. Because in many cases, you are providing opportunities for people not only to take advantage of you, but to find ways to destroy you, overtly or slowly. You might not see it because, again, if you're a tender dick, you're not using your foresight correctly. You're just a slave to your foreskin. I'll leave that there. And as far as your wealth, what point does it make when you're able to provide those 6-7 figures or better, and you have 6-7 figure debt? Not only is what is your fiscal net worth, but what is your spiritual net worth? I know it's something that we don't like to talk about, but let's have that discussion here and now in this space. It doesn't mean anything if you're spiritually bankrupt. And you'll have a lot of parasites who will hang on to, whatever bullshit you're doing because you have the money to keep them there. What happens when you lose that? We saw that with COVID. We have individuals who look their nose down at people like myself who do Uber. Now all of a sudden, I'm seeing a lot of Uber drivers, at least in my area. Spirituality keep you rooted. That provides people with a sense of shelter and reassurance that they're with a solid individual. And again, when you provide that kind of aura about yourself, you change the environment in a constructive way. You tend to keep those who mean to do you harm on notice. I see you that you see me. We know how that moves. And if we play that game, let's play that game. But that's another thing. So in closing, I know that went into a ramble in a sense, but again, I want to get this stuff off my head because, again, when it comes to provision, there's right ways and wrong ways to exercise provision. We're talking about the 4 P's, which I'll go into elaborate later tonight because I got to finish up my runs and I'll be done. But I want to say much love to A Game Nation. Everybody, if you want to contact me, you can reach me at genuinearticle75@gmail.com, or just contact me through the comment section, and we can chop it up. And I'm glad to entertain, and even talk to my peers out there, because it's supposed to be a community of growth and forward progress. And we're supposed to be teaching each other. I can stand to learn from my peers. And this is supposed to be like a classroom environment. Reach one, teach one. That's how it is. So much love to A Game Nation. Shout out to, the good old Doc. Much love to you. Because thank you for providing me with direction and understanding of what I need to provide for myself, but for my peers. So, again, never allow your comfort zone to become your coffin. And salute to you all. Looking forward to the next chapter, and I'm going to cover the other two, and I'll aspire to be more direct, because there was a whole lot in my head I had to get out, but thankfully I got it out. Now I can focus properly and execute with precision. So until next time, A Game Nation, peace.